Hello and welcome to Just a Moment with my special guest, Jenna Lee, doing part two of her story. And I am Kristen Harding. Welcome to the show.
Hi,
Say hi,
Kristen.
Jenna.
Hi.
Hello. I'm going to switch over to the comments here so we can see the comments. We are
Okay.
actually on Facebook, YouTube, and the new platform called Trovo. So this
Okay.
is
So
kind of
now we've
exciting.
shifted.
What's
Because
that?
all I knew about was Facebook, and so now I'm just a little bit more nervous.
Oh, don't be nervous. It's just us talking. If they ask questions, I can answer them. We can answer them live, right?
Sure. Sure. So right now, let me let everybody know I am sitting outside of my public library, just sitting on some back steps, and it's a little bit breezy. It's 56 degrees outside, nice and partly cloudy. Um, and I just thought this would be a nicer kind of environment to be in, just outdoors and natural. And well, that's where we're stuck for now because it's too far to go back home.
Well, thank you, and thank you for being here with us again. Today, I'd like to, if it's all right with you, I'd like to ask some questions of your guides. So first, before I ask you the questions, I'd like to ask, when did you connect with your guides?
Uh, I think when I was like cognizant of them, and instead of like hoping that maybe they were there or that there was something there, when I knew, um, was probably about 6 months after I had a surgery that went bad, and after I recovered from it. Um, After I recovered from it, which took a while, I was attuned to Reiki, and I was working with some people that were specifically working on developing their psychic skills, and they gave me some instructions, and I tried those, and I made the connection, and my guides made had a way of communicating to me in a way that I couldn't question. Like I
Right?
knew that is really, but it was weird because it was nothing like what people had described. It was entirely, I could not have expected what I experienced. For instance,
Oh,
my guides don't have names. They
okay.
don't they have vibrations. They are who they are.
Okay.
Like, why do spirits need voices and names and the kind of language that we need in order to communicate? So
Indeed.
that was a first thing I had to get used to, because I kind of argued, well, can't I assign you some names? Can you?
Let me call you sweetheart, something, right?
Something, you know? But then that became unnecessary. That was an attachment I had to, act, to my idea, and to being a person, human being, and trying to define things the way that we do as humans.
Right, right. Put it in that box that makes sense to us. So,
Yeah.
being that they are spirit, would you say that they might be alien, or are they Terran, or are they angelic? How would you describe them?
Okay, well, a lot of us have seen a pretty common picture that floats around, um, the kind of paranormal type sites and groups of like these white beings that are kind of blue on the outside. They're standing around, and that's pretty much all that you see. That's very similar to what I encounter when I have a visual, like a visual picture in my mind. Only they're I know this is going to sound kind of funny, but they're sitting around on logs around a campfire.
I love it.
So
I love it.
they're rarely not around that campfire.
There is several people that I have talked to that know about that campfire. And apparently I sing there. So that's funny because when you said the white beams that flew around them, I could see them. And to
Hmm.
me, it was like an electric blue around almost like a ghost image, is what I
Right.
thought. Is that what you're
Like
trying to describe?
it's like an emanating light from them. It's yeah, yeah.
I love it.
But
Now, how would you identify
then
them? Are they
hmm,
are they aliens?
I first felt like they communicated to me that we were Arcturian
Okay.
and not, like Arcturian. There's Arcturian beings that live on the planet, but then there's also different incarnations, and some are just complete spirit without form at all that exists in higher dimensions. They are actually the ones that exist in those higher dimensions, but they've lowered in order to have a way that I can communicate with them, because I cannot communicate on that high of a vibration. And people that say that they do, I mean, I don't want to call people liars, but what they've communicated to me is that that would fry a human brain. A
I've
human
heard
brain
this.
cannot do that. So they have to come down, they have to lower their vibration enough, and then they help to raise my vibration
Right,
to whatever is safe in order for us to be able to cross have the kind of communication that we do, you know.
right. That's fascinating.
Okay.
What have what have they communicated to you?
Well, that's kind of a broad question because I've been working
Yeah,
with them a lot for years.
okay.
Um,
Recently.
okay, now I'm out of practice. So that was another reason why I was a little bit nervous about, well, what if I can't open up and I can't click in? Click in isn't the right word, but if I can't, what if my connection is not strong anymore?
Sure, sure.
And during well, I just ended up saying, y'all are just going to have to do it because I can't.
Right,
I have not been in that near constant exchange that I used to be in, because I used to be actively teaching and would have like small groups of people asking me questions. And that's actually the easiest for me is, sorry, can you hear
no
that?
problem. I
Okay.
can, not sure what it is.
It's
It sounds
somebody
like
on a bike having a phone conversation with somebody down at the sidewalk. So people would ask me questions, and usually my first response would be, I don't know. And then suddenly I would have the answer to their question, and then I'd go ahead and give it to them. I have a hard time coming up with questions to ask when we're in private, you
sure.
know. Um, and I'm not exactly sure. A couple of people seem to know what that is, but they wouldn't really talk to me about it. Um, and I think it has to do with my purpose in communicating with them is different than like the people that were starting to teach me. The
Okay.
original people that were trying to teach me, they were trying to teach me how to be a psychic, how to do
Right.
clairvoyance, and how to have, tell the future telling, and to reveal secrets that
Could
that
you
people
bring the
want.
phone a little closer?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
But people, the kind of things that they didn't know about somebody else. People want to spy on other people, so they go to a psychic, kind of things like that. And my communication with them, well, what I originally asked for, what I was aiming for to begin with, I think that opened the door was that I asked for truth.
Yes.
I wanted not to know the truth. I wanted to be free of all the chaos that seemed fake, false, not real. What are we really here for? What is it really about? What is the truth of spirit? And the questions that I had running into with my readings of religious materials
Mm-hmm.
that seem to contradict. So I think I was aiming for something different too. So I opened up to something a little less common. Does that answer any of your questions?
Oh, yes, yes. No, you're doing great. Not a problem. I'm I paused because I want to pose a question to your guides that is worthy of their time because I don't need to know anything, um, let's say, I don't need to know anything that isn't of the highest good for mankind.
Mhm.
I'm not looking, when is my next grandchild going to be, born and what sex
Right.
is it? No. But what I would like to know is, do your guides have a message for humanity to make them more hopeful so that we are not being constantly depressed, put down, and fed on by negative entities?
Well, okay. Let me really work. Let me release and surrender to get out of this. Immediately, what came to my mind was my own words, and
Okay.
I almost didn't catch that, but that wasn't their response.
All right.
What most people are suffering from, they don't understand what it is they're actually suffering from. What they're suffering from, they attribute to other things, but it is from the separation of who they think they are from who they really are.
Right.
Soul has the answer. Soul can fix those feelings, those um, okay, we have words for this, but I have just an emptiness. So our belief in lack. See, they don't have the word lack, but they understand the concept because
Okay.
we keep bombarding them with our requests for filling that lack.
Right.
And see, because soul, who you really are, will not violate the free will of the body that you think you are.
Okay.
So for them to integrate, which is our primary purpose for having this life, is to physically embody, for soul to be able to be materialized in physical form.
Right.
But the two must work together. And so we've got all this conflict, and the brain itself already has a lot of conflict. Until we calm that conflict within ourselves and surrender, which is like getting ego to surrender to soul, which seems impossible, but it isn't, then all of those things that we feel are problems, that we feel are, um, that we consider suffering, that we experience as suffering,
Right.
uh, fall away. They actually
Mhm.
fall away. It doesn't mean that we won't still have the physical problems of cancers and things like that. That's just part of being human. Um, it doesn't mean that those challenges won't come about, but how we face them, how we deal with them, and often heal from them, because soul knows how to do that too.
Yes. It's not the destination, it's the journey.
Right.
It's what we learn along the way. I agree with you 100%.
Challenges are important. It's just like, and you've probably heard this analogy many times. In order to build muscle, you must have resistance to that muscle.
Mhm.
So to build the to further the integration, to apply the spiritual principles to our living situation, we must confront the challenges so that then we can test those out, integrate them more. You can't integrate them just by having the theories in your mind. You must live it.
Right. Candace is asking you to pull up your phone a little bit because
Okay.
the wind.
Well, and I'm not
Hello,
sure where the mic is
Candace.
for this microphone.
Hello, Bradley Chester. Hello, Carolyn Shepherd. I don't see anyone else, but when I do, welcome, welcome to Just a Moment. This is Jenna Lee. She is outside. It's 56 degrees and windy where she is, but she's such a trooper. She's gracing our stage, even though she's probably kind of chilly. So
No, I've got
I
3 layers on. I'm prepared.
well, good. So, do you believe in past lives?
I believe in past lives, which I didn't. I mean, that was a foreign idea to me, even 7 or 8 years ago. But now I fully believe in past lives. I do not have the same idea of past lives as what I've heard other people express when talking to them,
Hmm.
because my understanding of soul is different than the embodiment and development of personality that we go through that is short time.
Right,
Soul is much different than that. I mean, because if we were all of the things that we had lived as past lives and carried that on, we would be nothing but completely schizophrenic
right.
crazies out there, you know.
I I explained that to my husband one time. I said if we remembered everything,
Hmm.
I explained it as like reincarnation is like recycling of the soul. But if we remembered everything, we wouldn't come into this world innocent. We wouldn't come into this
Right.
world with, the ability to report back all of our experiences, good and bad, because we'd already know, what to avoid. It's like
Right.
it's like we're from childhood on. If we knew everything that a 75-year-old knew, that would be quite taxing, wouldn't it?
Yeah. The wind is picking up. I'm gonna try to move.
Okay, good.
But yeah, that would be too much for, especially, I don't know about other um, well, I think like Arcturians could handle their incarnate brain could handle, and bodies, because bodies carry memory too.
Right.
Um, I think that they could handle a lot more awareness, a lot broader awareness of history and future, and time is weird because it's all now. But than what the human brain currently has the capacity to handle. So yeah, I think I absolutely agree with that.
Candace has a question for you. She
Okay.
says, can we ask your tides if we carry ailments over from past lives into this life?
Hmm. She's asked me this before. Um, I think that we do, but not always. Like, usually not. Usually it's an experience that was meant for that lifetime.
Okay.
But if a soul is at a stage of development that they're still attached, like they've become attached to the incarnated experience, then yes, they carry that with them because they're attached to that kind of life. My battery's not going to hold out for a lot longer.
Oh
Just
dear,
let
do you need to find a power source?
I could, and I do have my charger with me, but I'm not sure that I could find one out of the wind. I will see. But if
Okay,
you lose me, that's what happened.
okay. Well, if I
So I
lose
think
you, do you want to continue again later, or do you want to just make it a short show, or what would you like to do?
we'd have to make it a short show because it takes me
Yeah.
20 minutes to get back to my house.
Okay. Well, how about then, is there a message for the audience from your guides? Did you freeze? I think she froze. Oh no. Well, I guess there's going to be a part 3 after all. I'm going to give it just a minute more to see if she'll tap back in. But when your phone dies, your phone dies. Well, that's what I was wondering too, if she could go inside the building, but she wasn't sure she could. So let's see now. Oh, yeah, she completely went away. All right, well, that just means part 3 coming up. So that's all for now, dear lights. Thank you so much for joining us. Think of your questions for next time for Jenna, and I will see you again on the next show. Bye.